Whoa! Whoa! Oh. This is amazing. Thank you. USA. Well, I want to thank. This is incredible. You know, I had a press conference before, and one of the questions was, Mr. Trump, what are you doing? You're not supposed to be campaigning today. You've broken all the rules. What's going on? They're having their convention. Sir, you're not supposed to be campaigning. Well, guess what, folks? We're campaigning, okay? We're campaigning. Because we're going to make America great again, folks. We're going to make America great again. Remember that. And they said the same thing, you know, during the primaries. We had 17 people, very talented people. And they said the same thing. This will never work. Because Trump comes in, he has these big rallies, and then he leaves. And I'm supposed to have dinner like with two people, spend the entire evening, then go to another two. And they said, well, why do you do that? I said, well, I do it because I can get the rallies. The other people can't get the rallies. It's very simple. It's very simple. But that worked. I have to thank two people that have been unbelievable and great friends. Tom Marino, Congressman. Where's Tom? Get up here, Tom. Get up here. And Lou Barletta. Get up here. Oh, there they are. Lou. All right. They have, like, big fences to cut. Just stay there. Just relax, okay? We all know what you look like. You know. But they have been so great right from the beginning, and I want to thank you both. I want to thank you both. Thank you. I mean it. So it's been an amazing, sit down. Come on. We've got plenty of time, right? We have nothing but time. It's a nice place. This is very nice. First of all, Mike Pence has been amazing. He's been amazing. And you know, one of the reasons, and this is 100%, one of the reasons I chose Mike was because Indiana, under his leadership, has done so well. It's done so incredibly. AAA bond rating. They have really low unemployment, one of the top few states. Everything is good. Even for the veterans, in terms of employment, I think it was 32 or 38. No, that's not the good number. That was when he got into office. And when he left, right now, basically, they were number 2 in the nation. He wants it to be number 1. That's incredible. That's veterans being employed by some of the folks in this room. So that was good. Now, when we won New York, you know, we had these incredible victories. Now, what do I know about politics, right? What do I know? But we do have a lot of common sense, all of us, don't we? We know. We know a lot. We know a lot. When I had a run that was incredible. It started with New York. And you know what's nice? I won New York, Queens, you're right, Queens. He knows. What are you doing here? What are you doing here? But we had this incredible period of time, and we just kept winning. But I went to New York, and we had a massive landslide victory. Won just about everything. And in my victory speech, I don't even know why I said it, but I said, and this is in the middle of Fifth Avenue, okay? We're going to put the miners back to work. I said that. I don't even know why. And by the way, that includes the steel workers, and we're going to take a lot of the regulations off of gas, because gas is big and they want to close you down. They want to close the mines down. They've been closing mines down. It's sad. It's sad. But little did I realize that shortly thereafter, I'd go to a place called West Virginia. And did they love Trump? Did you see those numbers? And Hillary Clinton, crooked Hillary Clinton, she's really crooked. So Hillary Clinton, thank you. You know what we're going to do even better? We're going to beat her on November 8th. We're going to beat her. Okay? That's even better. Okay? That's what we're going to do. Got to get out there. We got to vote. You got to get out there. We got to get out there. But you remember, so Hillary gave a press conference in an area where coal and the different things that we all love wasn't so important, right? And she figured she'd make the statement and it wouldn't get back to West Virginia. It got back to West Virginia, and it got back to Pennsylvania, and it got back to Ohio, and it got back to a lot of places that she didn't want to hear that message. She said, we're going to put the coal miners, and we're going to put the coal mines out of business, okay? No good. And we had an event. It was at a big, massive place. It was beautiful in West Virginia. And the place was packed. It had to be 10, 12,000 people. And outside, they had at least double that number. And it was love. And I went and saw some of the miners. And I said, so tell me, would you ever think of like leaving and going to another place and maybe doing something else instead of this? They said, Mr. Trump, and I understand this so well, we love mining. We love doing it. This is our livelihood. Our fathers, our grandfathers, this is what we do. We do it so well. We don't want to do something else. And I said, I love that. I love that. I can understand it, and I love that. Love it. So hang in, because we're going to put you back to work. We're going to put you back. It's going to be a beautiful thing to see, because these are great people. These are amazing people. And so many from this area, but so many from this state. And I went to school in Pennsylvania. I love Pennsylvania. You know, I love Pennsylvania. And we're just going to, you know, when I look around and I see what happened, I didn't need to do this. I had a very nice life. Beautiful family, beautiful business. I built this incredible company, all good stuff. And I just couldn't stand. You look at the Iran deal. You look at so many different. Everything is wrong. Everything is wrong. Take a look. I'll tell you what. Let's talk. Take a look at the convention that's going on right now. They don't honor. Think of it. They don't honor our police. They don't honor our law enforcement. We started complaining they had no American flags on this massive stage. They had no American flags. They forgot to put up. Now, we had a lot of flags. Somebody said, I can't see you, Mr. Trump. There are too many flags. I said, that's okay. We'll leave it that way. But we had a tremendous success. And we got a bounce that, according to one of the networks, that it was one of the biggest bounces that anyone's seen. Now, I give a lot of credit for that to my family. My family, Melania and Tiffany and Ivanka and Don and Eric. And they talk about these people. They say stars, stars. I'd rather have those 5 stars, much more so. Those 5 plus 1, by the way. But they did an amazing job. And I have one of the stars with me. Shall I introduce you to Eric? Eric! Eric! Get over here, Eric. Come here.
Wow. Look at this crowd. This is amazing. Well, you know what, guys? I had to come today. I spent so much of my youth in Scranton, in Carbondale, in Waverly. So many of my best friends in the world. I went to boarding school in Pennsylvania for 5 years, and I just love this state. But I know this area as well as anyone, and I just had to be here today. We have so many great friends here, and thank you. And you know, we just came off a convention, and we had the greatest time, and it was such an honor to be up there to talk about my father, and we had the greatest time, and we are so proud of him, and we are going to make America great again. We're going to win this in November, and we are going to make this country great again. Thank you very much, guys.
That's my 6'6" boy. He's a good guy. He's a good guy. He loves this area. He really did. He loved the school he went to. He went to the Hill School, and he loved it. And he did well. He did well. He's been doing well. I'm very proud of my children. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm very proud of my children. So, President Obama today was interviewed on a show. I mean, look, honestly, if he did a great job as president, I don't care. If he's a Democrat, Republican, conservative, liberal, I don't care. If he did a great job as president, I would be so happy. And so would you. I would be so happy. It hasn't worked out that way, okay? It hasn't worked out that way. We're scoffed at all over the world. We're looked down upon all over the world. We're not respected anymore. We were talking about Putin today. No respect, no like, no nothing. You know, wouldn't it be a great thing if we could actually get along with Russia? Wouldn't that be a good thing? That would be a good thing. Not a bad thing, it would be a good thing. Wouldn't it be a good thing if we could make deals, trade deals with China, that instead of losing hundreds of billions of dollars a year and rebuilding China, the roadways, the airports, you have to see the tunnels, that we did much better than we're doing right now. And you know, I'm a free trader. I'm a free trader. I believe in it. But you need smart people to make great deals. We don't have the right people. We are being ripped off by every single country we do business with on trade. Every single country we do business with. We have people negotiating our deals that are political hacks. And these are deals that are so big. You know, you could take a mid-sized country, and the trade deals are bigger than these massive deals you read about with corporations. You know, you say, oh, massive deals. These are bigger deals. There is no bigger deal than our deals with China on trade. But it's a one-way street. They take their product, they flow it in, and by the way, for you steel workers, they dump more steel in this place because they're going to put you out of business. You're already mostly out of business, but they want to put you out of business. We're going to start making things again, folks. We're going to start making things again. That includes steel, but we're going to start making things again. A friend of mine who's a manufacturer, he's a great manufacturer, and he's not a very political person, which is probably good for him, but he's a great manufacturer. And he calls me up and he goes, you know, it's really sad. I worked so hard to get into China. I can't break in. He can't get in. It's so hard. Then he finally gets in, and he has to pay massive taxes on everything. And they want him to open up plants in China. We're not going to let you do this anymore. And I'm not even blaming China. I think they're doing the right thing for them. But they're killing us. They're killing us. And it's not going to happen anymore, folks. Not going to happen anymore. And the problem is, it's a one-way street. We pay tax. They don't take our goods. They make us build like crazy over there. You look at Boeing. They order 300 planes. They end up having to build a massive place over there. They devalue their currency. They're grand masters. They're the greatest in the world, ever. Japan's good. They're all good. We're not good. We don't know what's happening. And it's so easy to stop. Because they send their goods in. And they send them in without tax. And not going to happen. So here's the story. Here's the story. I won the state of Indiana, where I got to know Mike Pence. And one of the reasons I won, well, maybe the biggest reason was Bobby Knight came out and he said, you know, we want Trump, right? Look at her. We want Trump. But Bobby Knight was so great. But one of the big reasons I won Indiana was because Carrier Air Conditioner announced. Actually, about a year before. But I kept talking about Carrier. I didn't know it was going to be good for me. It turned out to be good for me. Because every time I made a speech in Indiana, I'd have so many of these 1,400 people that got laid off. They were in Carrier for years, some of them 30, 35 years. Good people. And one day, and if I didn't have the cell phones, those cell phones where they take the pictures, it was all over the news. Somebody was taking a picture of this sort of mid-level manager saying, listen, we're going to fire everybody, and we're moving to Mexico. Just another case. But you know what? It's much more effective when you can see it. Let's say that same thing happened, but we didn't have the picture of these people that were devastated. They were devastated. This has been their job for many years, and it's a good job. You know, the jobs we have aren't good jobs anymore. They're bad jobs. And even the opponents say they're bad jobs. So I go to Indiana, and I've been talking about Carrier for a long time, and it got worse and worse. And many other this is just, in all fairness to Carrier, this is just one of hundreds and hundreds of companies that are moving out. In this case, going to Mexico. Many of them go to Mexico, but in this case, going to Mexico. So they announced they're closing. They're going to fire everybody. They're going to move to Mexico. They're going to make their air conditioners. They're going to sell them over here. And that's it. Not anymore, folks. Not anymore. Not anymore. Not anymore. So now when that happens, and this can pertain to all of we're going to keep your companies, and we're going to bring a lot of companies back. We're going to bring our jobs back. We're going to bring our coal back. And we're going to have clean coal. It's clean coal. But we're going to have coal. And that gas is going to be just a beautiful thing, okay? Because they want to regulate you right out of business. They want you out. They want to stop that one now. So what happens is this. They think they're going to go make their product, sell it in, everyone's going to be happy. So for years, I've been watching. Even before this administration, this beauty of an administration. I've been watching, and I've seen they're always trying to stop people from what they're trying to come up with plans, maybe low-interest loans, maybe zero-interest loans. I think they made a couple where they actually had the people, they gave them the money at zero interest or whatever. And then they moved because they forgot to say, you can't move, we're giving you money. This is the people that we have. So here's the story. Here's the story. It's very simple. I'm a free trader. But when trade isn't fair and when things aren't fair and when countries disrespect us, we're going to be very firm, very nice. I get along great with leadership. And I'm not angry at the leadership of Mexico or Japan or Vietnam, new, strong Vietnam, or China. I respect what they're doing. What they've done is fantastic for them. For us, horrible. So what we do is very simple. I've watched for so many years, and it's so basic. Half of the people, and I know a few of the people here, they're great business people, friends of mine. They're friends of mine. They came. There's one right over here. Stand up, Albert. Where the hell are you, Albert? Stand up, Albert. He's a good golfer, but I'm actually a better golfer than him. Right? Okay. But I have a lot of friends in the room. Great friends. But here's what we're going to do. They're going to make their product. Now, here's what they want to do. They want to make their product, send it in, sell the product in Indiana and every other place. Like nothing happened. There's going to be consequences now. So we tell them. Now, if you get to them early enough before they build their plant, you say, listen, we're really happy that you're moving to Mexico. We think it's wonderful. Very hot, but we think it's wonderful. But here's the story. If you're going to move to Mexico, every single time you make an air conditioning unit, we're going to charge you a 35% tax. Okay? Every time. We're not going to give you money. We're not going to loan you money that you don't need. These companies, they don't need money. They got plenty of money. This has nothing to do with loans. This has nothing to do with anything. So all these incentives that our government, which is complicated, loaning money and giving money and doing tax abatements, very simple. And I guarantee you, and I always joke, it's so much fun for me. I love business. I just love it. And I have an instinct for it. I built an unbelievable company, some of the greatest assets in the world. Some of the greatest assets in the world. Incredible. And I like it. The only problem is, as president, I probably shouldn't be making the call, right? I joke about this, but true. I shouldn't be calling the head of an air conditioning company, right? But I got to do it. It's so easy. It's like 3 minutes. My wife would say, you shouldn't be calling the head of Carrier Air Conditioning. I say, but honey, I'm telling you, It's so easy because I have some of the greatest business leaders in the world endorse me. Carl Icahn, great business leader. So many others. And the reason is because they know I know what I'm doing. So what happens is this. I got a call. Okay, the worst, I'll have one of my killers call, all right? One of the people that you wouldn't like very much, but who cares? You wouldn't want them out for dinner. Some are actually nice, but most are rather ruthless and vicious. But that's what I want negotiating. I don't want our political hacks negotiating, right? I want these guys. So, but a few I have to do myself because it's fun. So we call him. And he'll go, yes, Mr. President, it's a great honor to talk to you. Great honor to talk to you also. Listen, you're moving. I understand you're leaving. You're going from Indiana to Mexico, right? Yes. Well, I hope you change your mind. Well, sir, we won't. Now, you have to understand, I will be hit by every lobbyist and every special interest group in America in order to not make the call, in order to let the deal die, like Hillary Rodham Clinton. Hillary Rodham Clinton. So, that's crooked Hillary. So look, here's the story. So, normally a politician, so they're going to be calling, right? They'll call and they'll talk and they'll say, you know, this and that. And they'll say, Madam President. Oh, I don't want to hear that. I do want to hear it eventually because I want to see a woman become president, but it can't be her. She's a disaster. She's a disaster. She'll set you back a long way, women, if that happens. It'll be a long way before it happens again. You better be careful what you wish for. So here's the story. They'd say to Hillary, they'd say, you can't do that. They gave you $2 million, or you can't do that. Your lobbyist paid you a fortune and raised millions of dollars, or you're special. She'll go, you're right, I can't really do that. That's the end of it. Okay, that's the end. So they move to Mexico. They'll sell their goods. We have our 1,400 people unemployed, and I'm talking about times thousands of jobs, millions of jobs. Now, here's the difference. Me, they call, I don't care. Who is it? I know half of these guys anyway. I don't care. What do I want to take his call for? Okay, does nothing for me. You know, I spent $60 million so far in my campaign, right? 60. And I'm spending last month, I guess it was, somebody said, I thought it was 2 million, and they said it was 3.8 million. It's really good when you don't know that it's 3.8, right? No, I thought I put up 2. It was a matching something, and they said, oh, would you put up 2 million? It was actually 3.8 million. And I said to myself, you know, it's great. When you can put up 3.8 million instead of 2 million, you don't care. It's the way it is. I don't care. And I'm continuing, but I'm raising a lot of money. We're raising a lot of money for the Republican Party, and it's coming in big league, and it's coming in small doses, and that's something no other Republican is going to be able to do. Mike Pence was just saying, it's an amazing thing. We raised like $27 million for a partial month last month, and we're doing equally well this month. And I think the average cost was like $61 or $64, something like that. And that doesn't happen. That happens for Bernie Sanders because it's a different kind of mentality and thinking. And by the way, poor Bernie. He just wants to go home and go to sleep. Please. No. He wants to go to sleep. Who can blame him? Who can blame him? He wants to go home. Did you see he left very early last night? He's exhausted. But we're going to get the Bernie people, a lot of them, a lot more than people think, because I know the trade. He was right about one thing, trade. He said we're being screwed on trade, and he's right. He's right. What's happening with trade is right, and we'll talk about it a little bit more. Then we're going to talk about the border. We're going to talk about our depleted mineral, little things. But look, Bernie really hurt his legacy. Because if he would have gone all the way, and if they would have had some kind of a march, and then he goes back to being a senator, I think it's a lot better than the way he sold out to Hillary Clinton. He sold out. I mean, other than trade. And the problem is he knows trade's no good. The difference is I'll do something about it, big league. Because I like the trade, but we got to make great deals. Somebody said to me, well, are you a free trader? Yeah. Are you a fair trader? Yeah. I'm everything. I could name 10 different forms of trade. I know every one of them. Hey, the Wharton School of Finance right here in this great state, right? But the best school, number one, best school. Okay. So here's the story. So I can name all of them. So one of these characters back here, look at all of them. You know, for a group of people that said, why are you campaigning? Boy, do we have a lot of people back there. You know what? For a group of people that asked me this morning, sir, this isn't traditional that you would be out on the stump. Why are you campaigning? Man, a hell of a lot of people showed up for this, didn't they? Look at them. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Isn't it unbelievable? By the way, I have to tell you, they are the most dishonest human beings you'll ever meet. I really mean it. The most dishonest human beings you will ever meet. Sure. It's true. Especially if you're like a Republican or conservative, forget it. These are really bad people. Now, 25% of them are fine. 50% are not great. And 25% are among the worst people you will ever encounter in your life. It's true. They lie. They lie. They lie. You know the story where they never show the size of the crowds. They never do it. They never do it. Unless they're protesting. You know, I don't have protesters. People are so in love. I always say the safest place you can be is at a Trump rally. It's the safest place. The safest place. True. True. So we're going to bring it all back. It's going to all come back. It's going to come back bigger and better than you've ever seen it before. You're going to have jobs flowing in, believe me. You're going to have the carriers of the world say, I think I'm not going to leave because now we're playing with a different kind of mentality. They're not going to leave because they're going to say we're not leaving. Now, if they want to go to another state or that's different, you got to all sort of negotiate with each other. Good luck, folks. Good luck, our congressmen. Good luck. But you know, when they start leaving our country for another country because we're the stupid people, that's not going to happen, okay? That's just not going to happen. So if you look at what's going on right now in a place not so far away, a place that I happen to love called Philadelphia, I love it. You've got people that are fighting and trying to make their point, and they don't know what's happening. Because remember when I ran and everybody said, well, Trump won, beat like all of these people, all these professional politicians, and some very good people like Ben Carson, who's great, he endorsed me, great people. But very capable people. And I wrote it down, they have these signs, okay? They haven't mentioned ISIS. They don't want to mention it. Why? Because they created it. So they don't mention ISIS. I told you before, they don't mention our police or our law enforcement, and they wouldn't have those doors open for 2 minutes if it weren't for the police. They wouldn't have them open for 2 minutes. Right? They wouldn't have them open. Their new name, which is the joke of all time, is that Crooked Hillary is a change maker. Do you see? Change maker. You know, they probably paid $2 million for the guy who came up with that slogan. And I came up with Crooked Hillary all by myself. Okay. Zero. No money. But change maker. She's a change maker. So she's been doing this for like 30 years plus. And she's going to be a change maker, right? She's not going to change because the special interests and her lobbyists will never, ever, ever let her change. Believe me, they will never let her change, even if she wanted to, and she doesn't want to. Okay? Look at TPP. So TPP, Trans-Pacific Partnership, right? A horrible deal that she was totally in favor of. She said it was the gold standard not long ago. It's the gold standard of trade deals. Well, remember this. The worst deal ever signed from an economic standpoint in the history of our country, right? NAFTA. Signed by who? Bill Clinton. Who, by the way, gave a speech last night, but he didn't mention my favorite chapter. He left one chapter out. Oh. Man, I met a girl. You know, it's funny. When he started the speech last night, he said, I met a girl. And I said, that's politically incorrect. What he said. And I saw Rachel Maddow give him hell over that. It's not girl. But he said, I met a girl. And a lot of people thought that was nice. But I said, watch. And Rachel Maddow knocked the hell out of him because he said he met a girl. Because it's supposed to be, I met a woman. I met a woman. I don't know. Maybe we'll fight for him on that one, right? And didn't he say, I then grabbed her? And I said, boy, this is getting a little crazy now. What's going on, right? I grabbed her. And then when he said that, I knew that my favorite chapter would happen. And it didn't happen. He didn't talk about the kinds of things we want to hear about. So what are you going to do? But he's in there pitching, right? He's in there pitching. So look, here's the story. They call her a change maker. She's not a change maker. She's not a change. She wants to keep it just the way it is because it's a rigged system. She was very, very disloyal. Now, the last person that I like is Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Okay? This person is a disaster. And she has been for a long time. We'll take our Reince Priebus any day, right? We'll take. Reince is a great guy, and he's done a great job, and we had a great, great convention. And I'll tell you what, Cleveland did a fantastic job. They did a fantastic job. But think of how disloyal Hillary Clinton was to Debbie. Think of it. This was her crooked person. This was her dishonest person. This was her person that was rigging the system for her. She rigged the system. Carson never had a chance. His people never had a chance. I knew that. I was saying, I'm the one that came up with the term rigged system. And I said it a year and a half ago pertaining to my system. And frankly, had I not won all of these states by massive landslides, I wouldn't be standing here. You'd have some stiff. And there'd be 10 people in the office. You know what? You'd have a different kind of a guy. There'd be about 12 people sitting in the first row. Our 2 congressmen wouldn't be here. They'd say, oh, we don't want to be here. It'd be a whole different thing. And you'd be down 12 points instead of up 7 in the state of Pennsylvania. Right? Right? That's the way it is. But here's the thing. I'm a loyal person. When Corey had a problem, I was loyal. I stuck with him. Everyone said Corey should be fired. Why? I looked at a tape. What happened? I'm a loyal person. Okay? I'm a loyal person. You got to be loyal to people if they do nothing wrong. Now, in her case, she did a lot wrong, but she did it wrong. You know, she knew. Hillary Clinton knew what she was doing. She knew the system was rigged. And as soon as she got caught, because the emails came out, and as soon as she got caught, Hillary Clinton said, you're fired. Get her out of here. Get her out of here. That's what we have. It's weakness. It's disloyalty. And this woman, she wanted so hard. Remember, she went the other day in front of the Florida delegation. Oh, did they rough her up? But she deserves it. Look, she's a dishonest person. She deserves it. But she rigged the system against Bernie in favor of Hillary. And Hillary dumped her like so fast, like I've never seen before. And that's not what it's about. Loyalty can be a wonderful thing. And in this case, I thought it was incredible what happened. Now, the things that were on those emails were incredible. You talk about race, religion, women. By the way, if I ever said the things that are on those emails, I would have been run out of town, and probably had I gotten the nomination, I would have been forced to come to Scranton, stand right here and say, I'm getting out of the race. They were the worst things. And they're trying to slough them off. They're trying so hard to slough them off. And then I see her campaign manager, I don't know, young guy, nice guy, who knows. And he's on television. And he said that Russia hacked them. Right? No, he said Russia hacked them. I'm trying to figure out, how does he know that, right? So he goes, I think it was one of the Sunday talk shows, right? And he goes, Russia hacked them. And then he goes like, I said, how does he know? He didn't really know. But he said, Russia hacked them. And then he said, Trump. Yeah, Trump. And I'm sitting there watching him, saying, what did I do? What did I do? What did I do? Right? Trump. I wish I had that power. Man, that would be power. So he talks about Russia's hacking. The only thing he didn't say is what was on the emails was a horror. That's what the problem is. What was on the emails was a horror. But I'll never forget it. I'm sitting, I'm watching, falling asleep. He's a boring guy. And he said Russia with emails. Probably was China or somebody else. Might be a 400-pound person sitting in bed. Okay? Might be. Some of the greatest hackers of all time. But he said Russia. And then he said Trump. And it reminded me of John Lovitz. You ever see The Liar? John Lovitz, right? In Saturday Night Live. Yeah, I went to Harvard. Harvard, that's right. I went to Harvard. This was like, yeah, Russia hacked. Yeah, it was Trump. That's Trump. I'm saying, whoa! Right? Now, these are lying, bad people, folks. These are bad people. These are bad people. And they're incompetent people. And we want to turn our country around. We want to make great trade deals. We want to have strong borders. We want to have the wall. We want the wall. We're going to have the wall. Because we're going to stop drugs from pouring into our country. And people from pouring into our country. We want the wall. All right, I'll give you a quiz. Do you want the quiz? Who's going to pay for the wall? Who? 100%. 100%. I have these clowns, and you can hold it to them. Honestly, you hold me to it. I have these clowns in the back, these pundits. And they'll say, Mexico's never going to pay for the wall. Mexico. You know how much money they make from us each year? And I'm not including with the drugs. I'm leaving that out. No, I'm not. Which really is a terrible thing, because when I won New Hampshire, the New Hampshire people were unbelievable. My first victory was in New Hampshire. Where by the way, I hear I have a 7-point lead. I gotta tell you, it's funny. I have politicians, they're running. And some of them embraced me, like these two characters, okay? But some of them said, Trump is too controversial. And then I run. I don't care if they endorse me or not. It doesn't make any difference to me. I think I do better, Rob. I might do better without endorsements. But I have states, the great Rob. Stand up, Rob. Will you please take a bow for 2 seconds? So, and if I don't win this state, you'll never be standing up again. That I can do. Right? You better believe it. So I have these politicians, and they're running, and, they're senators. And they say, no, we don't want anything to do with Trump. We don't. It's too controversial. Do you endorse? Well, we support him. Please don't ask me that question. Then the poll comes out where I'm leading that senator, or whoever it may be, by a hell of a lot. And all of a sudden, we love Mr. Trump. He's great for America. This is what we deal with, folks. Okay, this is what we deal with. But in New Hampshire, got a nice lead, supposedly. A poll came out 7 points, 8 points, more, something like that. A very good lead. We're doing well. We're doing well in states And remember this. If a person on the stage with me, and I speak well of all of them now, because it would be nice if the party unified. I don't think it matters from my standpoint of, I really don't. I don't think it matters. But it would be nice. I don't know why, but it would be nice, because we have to win. But I will say this. We open up states, meaning me, meaning you. You know, we're together. I'm a messenger. I'm a messenger. That's all I am. Believe me. Believe me. I'm a messenger. That's what I am. That's what I am. You know, I was using this phrase for the last couple of months, and I use it again. America first. I use another one, but I use another one. I use another one. The forgotten man. Now, I have to add, and woman, but there is a old thing going around called the forgotten man. It's the forgotten man and women. We have forgotten men and women who work hard, who are making less money than they made 18 years ago, who are working much harder than they worked 18 years ago, and now they're older, who can't afford their health insurance, who hate looking at what's happening, who can't stand the fact that a priest in France has his throat cut and he lies dying on the ground, and they can't stand the fact that we're letting thousands and thousands and thousands of people pour into our country from areas of the world, and we are going to have problems like you've never seen. I've been very good at prognostication, folks. You see what I've been saying has all come true, pretty much. And Hillary Clinton wants 550% more than Obama of people coming in from that area of the world. We don't have documentation. We don't have paperwork. We don't really know who they are. I've spoken to the best law enforcement people in this country, and they say there is really no way of saying who they are and where they come from, okay? They even stole our passport machine. Did you see that? They stole our passport machine, and they can make passports better than we can make passports, okay? So these people are pouring in, and some of these people are going to cause problems. And with me, we're going to do safe zones. We're going to help people. We're going to get the Gulf states to pay, because I don't want to pay our country. We owe $19 trillion. Going to be $21 trillion very soon. We are going to build safe zones, and we're going to get the Gulf states that we protect. They wouldn't be there. They have nothing but money, and they're going to pay for the safe zones, and we're going to build them in Syria, and we're going to take care of people. But you know what? We're not going to pay for it because we can't pay for it. This isn't 40 years ago. This isn't 20 years ago. This is now. And we're going to make our country so strong. And we're going to renegotiate our military deals. You know, I'm taking a lot of heat where they say, oh, NATO. What he said, all I said is, we have many countries. We have 28 countries in NATO, right? There are 5 that are paying their way. The others, because you don't get it straight. They say back there, Donald Trump doesn't like NATO. Well, I think NATO's great. I said it's obsolete. Wolf Blitzer on CNN asked me a question. He said, no, he was fine. He said, what do you think of NATO? Now, you have to understand, I've been a businessman, but I have good common sense and I have business instincts. And I said, NATO's obsolete because it's not covering terrorism. And everybody smiled, laughed. They thought it was funny. 3 days later, they're all saying, you know, Trump's right. It's not covering terrorism. And then a few weeks later, check out the Wall Street Journal. A few weeks later, a front page Wall Street Journal. NATO to open up terrorism division. I said, great. And to appoint a great guy as the head, you know, one of their big guys. Who knows? Who knows if he's any good? Who the heck knows? Who knows, Father, if he's any good, right? We need your help, Father. So that was right. And then I said the second thing. So I said it's obsolete, so they'll work on that. And I think NATO's fine, but we have to adjust. You know, you can't go for so many years and no adjustment. So now they have that. But I also said, because I've heard this, that people aren't paying their fair share. They're not paying their way. And then these stupid people, they say, but we have a treaty. They say, what would happen if Russia, somebody attacks? I said, I don't know. Have they paid? Have they paid? Have they paid? Tell me. Have they paid? Well, they haven't paid, but we have a treaty. I said, yeah, they have a treaty too. They have to pay. We're going to end up in World War III protecting people and these people can't pay. We're going to protect. And there's an article right here. It says, cover, Trump is right. 5 countries out of 28 are paying their way. So I want them to pay. And here's the story. They will pay if asked by the right person. They'll pay. They'll pay. And Hillary Clinton said, we will protect our allies at all costs. Well, how the hell can you get money if you're going to say that? And we need money. We have massive, massive deficits. We need money. We need money. So, it sounds cold. It sounds terrible. And then tonight you'll listen to Obama saying, Donald Trump wants to give up NATO. He doesn't say it right. I want to keep NATO, but I want them to pay. I don't want to be taken advantage of. We don't want to be the stupid people anymore, okay? We don't want to be the stupid people anymore. We're protecting countries that most of the people in this room have never even heard of, and we end up in World War III in a country, just, come on, give me a break. Now, if they live up to their obligations, as they should, and by the way, if they do that, they'll have more spirit in a certain way, okay? But they have to pay. Same thing with Japan and Germany. Can you believe? A lot of people, before I ran, did anybody know that we were protecting and paying for a large portion of the protection of Japan, which sells us cars by the millions, and Germany, and Saudi Arabia, and South Korea? We sort of knew because we have 28,000 soldiers on the border. So I said, here it is. You got to pay. Got to pay. So I talk about Japan. Love Japan. Many friends in Japan. Great country. They sell us cars. I mean, you talk about rip-offs. You want to see a trade imbalance? We sell them wheat. They sell us cars. We sell them beef. And they don't even take the beef because their farmers say, we don't want American beef, right? Even though it's the greatest beef in the world. They don't want it. They don't want it. So we sell them beef. They sell us cars. It's the greatest trade imbalance. You got to see it. It's like the floor is us. The ceiling is Japan. We don't do anything about it. We don't do. But on top of it, we protect Japan. So a general gets on, sent obviously by Obama, and he said, Mr. Trump doesn't understand. He knows nothing about defense. I know more about offense and defense than they will ever understand. Believe me. Believe me. Than they will ever understand. Than they will ever understand. So he said, and this is a general. Now, if he says this number, it's actually lower. He said, doesn't he understand that Japan pays for 50% of its production and of the work we do? Okay? They pay for 50% of the defense that we give them, of the military protection that we give them. So the newspaper calls up and they say, Mr. Trump, sir, they pay for 50% of the military. I say, why aren't they paying for 100% of them? What? And the reporter goes, oh, never thought of that. They don't think of that stuff. And Germany, who has a Mercedes? Half the people in the room, okay. But look, Germany. Now, I don't mind, and I understand all the reasons why, and we don't want them to arm and all of that stuff. But, if the man that we know so well, who's always threatening everybody in the region, North Korea, if he all of a sudden gets a little more frisky than just words, we end up in a massive war protecting somebody. Now, here's our treaty with Japan. Again, I love Japan. I respect Japan. I respect what they've been able to negotiate. I think it's great. But here's our treaty with Japan. If they get attacked, we have to protect them, essentially World War III, right? If we get attacked, they don't have to do anything. Okay? They don't have to do anything. No good. No good. Then they'll say, Donald Trump, you'll hear it tonight. They have all these guys lined up. Donald Trump doesn't know about, I know so much. Now, if we... And I actually saw it today on television. I saw a couple of people. They call me. One guy calls me. He's a teacher at a big college. Could I come up to your office with my students? I said, oh, this is just what I want. Oh, I'm so busy. He comes up. I treated him nice a while ago. Comes up, treated him nice, take pictures with all these students. Say, yeah, goes back. Then I see him on television. I know nothing about, because I cannot tie the fact that they're not paying into this. Why? Am I right? I mean, give me a break. So people agree with me. But they don't tell you the story. A lot of them said, headlines, Donald Trump doesn't like NATO. He wants to get out of NATO. They don't say what we're talking about. So when they hear what they're talking about, everybody says, you know, you're right. So right now, headline in a major newspaper 2 days ago, 5 countries out of 28 are paying their way. The rest of them aren't. Some are paying nothing because there's nobody to ask them. There's nobody to ask them. So we're not going to be the stupid country anymore. We're not going to be led by stupid people anymore. And we're going to do such... I mean, think of this. I had a moment where I said, we're going to renegotiate NAFTA. Everyone said, oh, that's terrible. What's wrong with renegotiating, right? We're going to renegotiate the NAFTA deal. It's draining our jobs, all this stuff. Everyone said, oh, Donald Trump wants to renegotiate. He's against free trade. I just want good deals. That's all I want. But all I want is good deals. Call them whatever you want, right? But it was a big story. Donald Trump is going to renegotiate NAFTA. Isn't that terrible? I said, let me ask you a question. So I'm a good negotiator. So we get in the room with these folks. I tell them pretty tough stories because I mean it. Because you always have to be prepared to walk. You have to be. You cannot go into a negotiation unless you're prepared to walk. I'm prepared to walk from a bad deal. It's a bad deal anyway. So I'm prepared. You guys, I guarantee, are prepared to walk. You've lost half of your businesses. I mean, I'm not going to go into it, but I look at Scranton. Pennsylvania has lost 1 in 3 manufacturing jobs, right? Look at these numbers. Look at these numbers. Look at these numbers. Scranton has lost 43% of its manufacturing jobs since Bill Clinton signed NAFTA. This is just 43% of your manufacturing jobs. So I don't think you'll be hard to convince. I mean, you're smart people. But look, why would anybody be upset if I want to negotiate deals, make them better? Why would anybody care? So I say I want to renegotiate NAFTA. And the newspapers, only the newspapers, they say, that's terrible. And I'm trying to figure out why. They have the National Review and some of these conservatives be upset. They're upset about it. I don't get it, but I don't care because I'll do it. Okay, I'm going to do it. But nobody understands. Now, today or yesterday, Hillary Clinton said, first time ever in her life, right? I am going to renegotiate trade deals. Not one mention of my name in the article. Not one mention. Not one mention. TPP, gold standard, right? She had the gold standard. She then saw me on television knocking the hell out of it because they don't talk about currency manipulation and devaluation. They don't talk about many of the problems. Plus, you know what? I want to make a deal, not a massive number of countries. I want to make a deal one-on-one, individual countries. Nice and simple, nice and simple. Nice and simple. 1, 2, 3. You we don't like, you're bad. 4, 5, no good. 6. These deals are so complicated. So it's a 5,000-page document that the only people in Congress that read are our 2 congressmen, and I promise you they didn't read them either, okay? Don't worry. So this is a 5,000-page document that nobody read. Remember Obamacare? Remember when Obama came out, it was thousands of pages, and they went to Congress and nobody read it? And then you had the wise guy from one of the good schools, and he said it was a con job. He said it was a con job, and everybody was going to just go after that guy. And you know what happens? A couple of weeks go by, they forget. But I remember, and I will bring it up. Do you remember the guy? He said that Obamacare was a con job. Remember that? It was all a big con. And 2 weeks go by, and they sort of fades. Then 4 weeks go by, it's over. But it's not over with me. So here's the thing. I want to do individual countries. Because what happens is when you do a lot of countries, number one, too complicated. You got to see the lines on this thing. I looked at it. 5,000 pages. You got to see the lines. It's here, here, here. It's like the craziest thing. Impossible. And if one of the countries is bad, you can't get out. Because it's such a complicated web. I want to make trade deals with individual countries. Nice and simple. Nice and beautiful. Nice and beautiful. And if the country misbehaves or takes advantage of us like they always do, we just send them a notice. Sorry, here's your 25-day notice. Okay, we're breaking off trade. And you know what they'll do? They'll call up and say, what do we have to do to keep it going? Okay, and we'll make a better deal. It's what we do. So look, folks, we are going to make this country so strong again. We're going to build up our military. It's totally depleted. We're going to build the wall. We're going to take care of our veterans. Our veterans are our great people. We're going to take care of our veterans. We're going to take care of our vets. They've been forgotten. So many people have been forgotten. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I just ask you this one thing. I didn't need this, and neither do you, sitting in this room that's about 200 degrees, okay? The only good thing is you lose a lot of weight. But look, what I ask you is this. You have to go November 8th, and you have to vote, or we've just all wasted our time. This is a movement, but it's only really a movement if we win. I tell the story a lot about people that tell me what you've done has never been done in politics before and all that stuff. I say, no, it doesn't mean anything. If I knew that I wasn't going to win, I wouldn't even waste my time doing it. I wouldn't waste my time. They said, no. In terms of history, what you've done has never been done. I said, it doesn't mean a thing unless we win. Okay? Doesn't mean a thing. Because we can't do what we're going to do. And it's so simple. We're going to make things fair. We're going to make things fair. So I only ask you one thing. Get every person you know. We have to win the state of Pennsylvania. And I can't believe she has many fans here. I can't believe she has many fans here. I don't believe she has many fans here. And the miners and the steel workers and the executives and the professors, we've got them all. We have to get out there. We have to vote. We can't sit back. Because this is a really vital state. And you're going to see, because she's got $1 billion to blow, and she'll put in these crazy ads, much of which is wrong. I'd go into it, but I don't want to even bother. But they're wrong. They're false. But she's going to put on all these ads. And you know what? They're false ads. Thank you, darling. I love you, too. Look at her. I love that. But look. Thank you. She's going to put ads. You know, when I was running in Florida, I won in a landslide. I went through 2 weeks of ads. I was down there. I said, this is the most incredible thing I've ever seen. You couldn't see. I was dying to see an Ivory soap ad. But there wasn't. Because Trump was all negative ads. And I won in a massive landslide. So somehow people understand the truth. Because they're really phony ads and false ads and vicious. But here's the story. Come November 8th, you have to get out and vote. Because it is a movement. And it's a movement like nobody's seen. They're talking about it all over the world. We're on the cover of Time magazine every 2 hours. Many covers on Time magazine because of what's happened. And, you know, my whole life I've been on Time magazine, I think, a couple of times. My whole life. Not so bad. And the last number of months, I think it's 6 or 7 times, right? That's pretty good. So you tell me, what's more important, real estate or politics, right? But what really is more important is making America great again. And that's what we're going to do. I love you. Thank you very much. Get out and vote November 8th. I love you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.